What's up, guys? So, I was having this amazing conversation with my mom, and it's so crazy because you can have these conversations and they will help so much in gaining clarity as far as what actually drives our actions. And it's not until we really ask the right questions that really uncover those behaviors. Because you can say, why did I say that to somebody, right? Or why did I avoid that person, right? Or why did I, why did I have that remark towards somebody? And so that's level one. That's a level one question, right? So why did I yell at somebody? Or why did I insult somebody? Whatever it might have been. And and you say, well, I got to stop doing that, right? Once you realize that your actions are not what you should be doing. And so you stop the behavior, but then that behavior comes up in a different way, right? And so I want to explain to you from my personal life how that's happened. So I judged myself so much when I was in high school. Frankly, I was incredibly insecure. I was really insecure. I'm going to put it out live. And I try to put a front out, and I try to put a front so that people would think I'm cool. And but the reality is that I felt like I wasn't good enough, so I had to put this front out so people would like me. And I was seeking this validation, right? And I seeked it in different ways. But in some of the ways, I judged others for not being fitting this image that they were supposed to fit, right? And so throughout my early 20s, I went through this period of heavy self judgment, right? And I would yell at people because I felt, well, yell like I wouldn't be nice sometimes, and I would felt really misunderstood because I was screaming inside. I was like, why does not anybody understand what I'm going through? And I was so lonely, and I didn't know who to talk to about this. And and so I'll get to the behavior part in just a second. So I was going through this deep lonely phase in my life. In reality, it turned to be a gift because I learned so much and I grew so much. And so now that I'm at this point in my life, I start seeing some of the behaviors that I fixed to become a better person, to not snark at somebody, to not judge somebody, right? But I see those behaviors emerge. I see different behaviors emerge for the same reasons, which is interesting, right? So you could try to fill your belief of your inadequacy. You could try because you feel inadequate. Fuck. Because you feel that you're not good enough, right? You either try to overcompensate, right? So you put this front, you judge, right? And people see that as like, oh, this dude is a little try hard. This dude's a little he's a bit too much, right? And I realized I was doing that, and so then I switched my behavior to being aloof, right? And so the same it was the same root cause that was causing those behaviors, right? So it wasn't until I asked, why am I behaving this way? Not why did I do this behavior, but let me take a step back and ask a level 2 question, is like, what is the root of these same behaviors, right? And it came, right, because of my own self-judgment. Like, I still judge myself. And until I fill that void myself with my own affirmation that I was enough just the way that I am, then that behavior was never going to change. Or any of those behaviors. Because I could stop being aloof and it's going to come about in a different way, in a way that I don't even know how it's going to come up, right? So it's like you're peeling the onion. And so what's the reason? Why am I aloof? Well, the truth is that I don't actually believe anybody really wants to be my friend. Like, I actually have this weird belief that nobody really gives a shit. It's crazy. And everyone will call me crazy. But I have this weird belief that has not allowed me to form deep relationships with people because I believe that I'm not good enough to be your friend. And it's crazy because I feel like I have friends, right? But deep down, there's a disconnect, right? And I have to get rid of, and so I finally found and I'm facing the truth, and it's the most difficult thing because it's painful. Like, I actually don't think I'm good enough. And so and then you begin to ask, right? Where else is this coming about, right? Because now I'm trying to start a business, right? And so, like, am I not good enough, right, to start a business? Why would somebody want to do business with me? You know? And so you start realizing that a personal problem will reflect in literally every single aspect of your life, in your relationships, in your work, in literally everything you do, because it's the identity and the core beliefs that you need to change in order for everything to change. And holy shit, that's like a mind fuck, because you really can't get anywhere. And that's why people stay in these behavioral patterns, because they can't step back and really ask the right questions. And asking the right questions is hard. So, for example, like, because I felt that I didn't want to be somebody's friend, that I wasn't worthy to be somebody's friend, then I never took responsibility for that relationship. And I would always wait for somebody else to step in. And so how does that manifest? Like, I would wait for others to take charge of the conversation. I would wait for others to speak up, right? Because I felt like I wasn't good enough. And so you start seeing that this one core belief starts affecting so many things in your life. And you're like, it's just that one belief. And you have to, and so that's when affirmations actually work, because when you actually identify the belief that you have to nail down, because once you identify the belief that you want to fix, then you use affirmations. Be like, no, because you actually do believe that you can change and that you're good enough, right? Because you start logically reasoning that there is no good reason for me to believe this. It doesn't serve me at all. And now you can combat that belief, but you can't just do mindless affirmations without knowing the belief that you're actually going to tackle. And so what I'm doing is I'm doing these affirmations that, yes, I'm good enough. I know I am. And you start crushing it because you are lasering in on that one core belief and getting rid of it. And I think that is how you really grow, because personal development is actually real. You can, but you can get stuck by reading all this information and by taking the actions that the books tells you, but the actions have to have a deep underlying cause and reason. So I think that's how you heal trauma. And no matter where your trauma came from, this trauma came from in my childhood, from things my parents did, things I happened to me in school, right? But now I have to fix them, and I have to take responsibility for this belief that was placed inside of me by some external force, because I know for a fact I wasn't born with it. But I have to fix it. So I'm fixing it. I'm fixing it. Fixing it. And it's not easy, but it's happening. And I'm getting better. Trust me, it was a lot worse. Because now I can actually talk about it. And before I couldn't even identify it, right? It's like years of progress where I could actually open up and be vulnerable enough to talk about it. Because now I know I'm good enough. And I know I can be somebody's friend. And this is something that I have struggled with a lot. So, and I still deal with it, right? It's all, and new things are going to arise that you didn't realize. But when you learn the skill of identifying and then the skill of affirmations, you become unstoppable. Because you have no idea how these core beliefs are affecting you in your daily life. And it's not until you actually laser in and identify them when you'll actually be able to make a change. And that's what I got for you guys today. I love you. I hope this helps somebody. Like and subscribe if you like this. Life and my life advice and my own thoughts and the way I think, and me trying to grow this business that I don't even know what the hell I'm doing. So, love you guys. Like and subscribe if you like this.